The United Nations General Assembly wrapped its second day with a Security Council session and more speeches. VOA's Margaret Besheer has that story.
The Security Council session focused on nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament. President Obama presided over the meeting, the first time a U.S. president has done so. He told the Council the United Nations has a pivotal role to play in preventing a nuclear crisis.
The historic resolution we just adopted enshrines our shared commitment to the goal of a world without nuclear weapons. And it brings Security Council agreement on a broad framework for action to reduce nuclear dangers as we work toward that goal.
The resolution aims to strengthen the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, to keep nuclear materials away from terrorists, and to ensure the development of nuclear technology for peaceful purposes. Meanwhile, in the General Assembly, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu delivered a fiery speech aimed at Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and his denial of the Holocaust. Mr. Netanyahu held up what he said were Nazi documents creating the World War II death camp of Auschwitz-Birkenau.
Are these plans of the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp where 1 million Jews were murdered? Are they a lie too? And what of the Auschwitz survivors whose arms still bear the tattooed numbers branded on them by the Nazis? Are those tattoos a lie too?
He also rebuked the diplomats who stayed and listened to Mr. Ahmadinejad's speech on Wednesday.
But to those who gave this Holocaust denier a hearing, I say on behalf of my people, the Jewish people, and decent people everywhere, have you no shame?
He said the most urgent challenge facing the world today is stopping what he called the tyrants of Tehran from obtaining nuclear weapons. Venezuela's President Hugo Chavez, meanwhile, spoke about the trend in Latin America toward left-leaning governments. He said socialism is the path to salvation. In his last speech here in 2006, Mr. Chavez referred to then-President George W. Bush as the devil and said the room smelled of sulfur. But on Thursday, President Chavez expressed a favorable view of Mr. Obama.
It doesn't smell of sulfur here anymore. It doesn't smell of sulfur. It's gone. No, it smells of something else. It smells of hope.
Japan's new Prime Minister, Yukio Hatayama, said his country hopes to be a bridge for the world as it faces the global financial and economic crisis, climate change, and nuclear non-proliferation. And African presidents from Rwanda, Ghana, and Sierra Leone pointed to the negative impact of the global financial crises on development in their countries. On Friday, more than 20 presidents are expected to speak. Margaret Besheer, VOA News, the United Nations.